All right. So, hey everybody, this is Brian. I'm going to go through my 2019 rod and reel arsenal. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm a big gear nerd. I obsess and I'm very interested in rods and reels. I've tried a lot. I buy and sell a lot. I go through a lot of rods and a lot of reels trying to find like the perfect ones. If I don't really like something after my first couple times out with it, it's gone. So I try to get stuff at good prices because I'm probably going to end up getting rid of it or flipping it down the line. So the ones that are currently in my lineup are the ones that have made the cut, or ones that I'm really excited to try using for the first time. Some of these rods might not last the season, but most of them probably will. So I'm going to go through. I have very specific makes and models for the kind of techniques that I like doing. I don't buy rods for techniques that I want to explore that much anymore. I kind of buy stuff that is primarily focused on a certain technique, but can also be used for something else if I want to dabble. I've learned the hard way that if I keep buying stuff for techniques that I really want to learn to do well, the rods just end up kind of sitting around and I don't use them as much as I should. So I got stuff that I really like using. Okay, we're going to start off with Megabass. So I've gotten into Megabass in the last year or two, and their rods are starting to multiply in my collection. So the first one, and probably my favorite rod in my entire collection, so I'm going to kick it off, is the Destroyer, US Destroyer FMJ, the full metal jacket. So this is a heavy rod. It's a 7-1 jig and flipping stick. Obviously, I'm going to pretty much use it for jigging, which is what it's designed for. So it's the US Destroyer model with the double cork grip. On it, I have a Loomis Pro TI. It's probably the best reel I own, so I just think it looks kind of dope. And this combo is pretty lightweight. Obviously, I'm going to run braid. I think this is 40-pound Power Pro Super Slick V2 to a fluorocarbon leader. Probably going to run 1/2 ounce to 5/8 ounce jigs on this thing all year. So probably always have a jig tied onto it. But that's my main bread and butter jig combination. Anyway, I'm going to move on to some more Megabass. So this one is a recent pickup, and I've got this for a very specific purpose. This is the Destroyer Daemos. This is a medium action rod. Well, I think it's like a medium heavy actually, but it's got a very parabolic bend. I'd show you the taper right now, but whatever. I'm running this with a Loomis G Series Tournament Pro, so Tournament Pro G. These are discontinued now, but I have a couple of them and I still like them. They're easy to maintain. I can probably take one of these apart blindfolded at this point. But this rod is going to be primarily, as you can tell, used for paddle tail swim baits. This is also going to be a primary spinnerbait rod, buzzbait rod. I could even swim jig with this, although I got a different rod for swim jigging. And then this can also be used for light Texas rigs. The Destroyer Daemos is, I think, tops out at 3/8. So it's a pretty light action rod. It's mostly for single hook moving bait applications, which is why I'm probably going to mostly use it for like high-techs and exo swims and various swim baits. So this is going to be my smaller swim bait rod. Obviously going to run fluorocarbon on it. I think this is 15-pound Seeger Invisics. So that's what this thing is going to do. Next one is, this is probably my newest favorite. I haven't even thrown this thing yet. This just came out. This is the Destroyer, US Destroyer Otomat. So I'm a big topwater guy. I've always been a big fan of topwater. I love topwater. I've always wanted to have just an amazing topwater setup. Megabass dropped this US Destroyer Otomat this year. This is a rod that's got a really soft action. It is made specifically for throwing poppers and walking baits. I don't know what other applications it's going to excel at. I'm guessing you could use it for shallow cranks, maybe even swim baits. I don't know. I'm going to play around with it this year, find out what it's good at and what it's not good at. But it's sick. It's very lightweight. Obviously, all Destroyer models are. And then I have it paired with the new Loomis Tournament Pro LFS. This just came out this year to replace the Tournament Pro G series. I think the black and gold with the black and gold looks sick. I'm excited to run this combo. I'm going to put 30-pound Power Pro braid on it to a small fluorocarbon leader just for like a shock absorber, and with a snap on the end so I can just quickly change out topwater bait. So it's going to be just devoted topwater stick. I'm sure I will have this rod on the deck for most of the year. I'm probably going to hit my ceiling with these rods. Okay, so the last Megabass in the collection, this is the new Levante series. Now, I got this rod for a very specific purpose. This is the Perfect Pitch. So this is actually a heavy rod, and this is rated up to 1.5 ounces, I think, or maybe maybe an ounce and a quarter. Anyway, this is the new Levante Perfect Pitch. This rod is going to do two things for me this year. One, which is probably going to be rigged up the most for, is a power shot. So I really like power shotting for cover using like a 3/0 EWG hook to like a 1/2 to a 3/4 ounce weight. And so this is going to be my primary power shot rod this year. And also, I'm going to use it to try throwing 6-inch mag drafts. I have some 6-inch mag drafts. I'm going to try and get better at throwing them and get some confidence built up in the mag draft. So this is going to be my bigger swim bait rod and power shot. But I'm running a Corrado K on this rod, and right now I think it's got 14-pound Sunline shooter fluorocarbon. So this will be a fluorocarbon rod all year long. I'm excited to try it out, the new Levante series. So we got Megabass all over the place lately. Okay, moving on to Shimano. This is the Expride. This is the 7.2 medium heavy. This is the regular 7.2 medium heavy Expride. This is kind of an all-around rod. I have two of these. I only brought one out. They both are running Corrado Ks. This is 14-pound Sunline shooter as well. I'm going to use one of these specifically for swim jigs all year. I love throwing swim jigs. It's one of my primary search baits. So one's just basically going to have a swim jig tied on all year. The other one, just going to be kind of an all-purpose rod. I'm probably going to throw a Texas ring on it. I don't know yet, but yeah. So I got two of these. The 7.2 medium heavy Expride kind of just does everything rod. These are very, very popular. Very hard to find. Everywhere is sold out of them. But I got two. I'm excited. I got high hopes for this rod. So, and both of them are running Corrado Ks, 7 speeds. Basically, all my Corrado Ks are 7-speed gear ratio. So this is my other Expride. This is the 7.2 medium heavy glass. My buddy Josh Douglas swears by this rod as one of the best chatterbait rods on the planet. So I'm going to give it a whirl this year. Corrado K again, Sunline shooter, 14-pound again. Going to be throwing a lot of jackhammers and other chatterbaits this year. The cool thing about this Expride medium heavy glass is it's a 60-40 blend. So 40% of the tip is glass to a 60% carbon backbone. So even though it's a medium heavy glass, it's got a lot of power. It's not a full glass rod, so it's not super parabolic. It gets parabolic up to about the 4th or 5th guide. Yeah, I'm excited to have a just hardcore dedicated chatterbait rod this year. And supposedly this is like the Cadillac, so we'll see. I've thrown it a little bit this spring, and it's nice. It's really nice. So anyway, if you have the means to grab some X-Prides, the glass is one of the good ones to get. Okay, moving on. So this is a Gloomis GLX. This is the 893C. This rod is going to pretty much just be for light Texas rigs. So like 1/8 up to a 1/4 ounce. This is going to be just for worming, creature baits. Just literally going to just Texas rig with this thing. This is the 7.5 medium heavy, so this actually probably be a really great rod to throw a buzzbait with once in a while. So I might whip this out with a buzzbait. So on this, I have this 13 Fishing Concept C, 7 gear ratio. I really like this reel. I had 2 of these. The other one wasn't super smooth, so I got rid of that one. This one though is just this reel is just for some reason just right. This thing is butter. It casts so well. It's super broken in. I can't part with this thing, and plus it looks pretty sick on the GLX. So this reel is gonna hang around for a little while. they palm really well together. Just feels right. Good combo. I'm going to be running 15-pound Seaguar and Vizix on this rod. So yeah, light duty Texas rig, plus I can throw moving baits on it with like buzz bait, maybe a light whopper plopper. I don't know. I'm going to play around with it some more. But yeah, so the GLX 893C, kind of a classic blank. The 893 and 894 are kind of the two Loomis rods that you kind of have to try once in your life. Okay, moving on. So that's Shimano stuff, Megabass stuff. Let's go to St. Croix. The rest of my stuff is St. Croix. So this guy, let's not hit things. This is the Legend Tournament Bass 7.4 Heavy. Now, Loomis makes this 7.4 Heavy in pretty much all of their rods. You can get a 7.4 Heavy Avid, you can get a 7.4 Heavy Avid X, you can get a 7.4 Heavy Elite. They make this blank in this rod setup throughout the line. It's awesome. This is a killer frog rod. Like, if you want to get a good frog rod, get a 7.4 Heavy Croix. Also, really great flipping rod. It's got a pretty soft tip for a big heavy rod. Its weight on the Legend Tournament version is really nice. It's not as light as a Legend X or Legend Elite, but obviously it's a lot cheaper. So this has got a Tatula 8-speed Tatula 100, one of the new Tatula 100s. I don't know if this reel is going to stay on this rod. I'm going to try it out, see if it's powerful enough for heavy cover fishing. If I feel this reel is not up to the task, I will trade it out at some point this year, but we'll give it an audition. 50-pound Power Pro, just regular Power Pro. This is going to also double as a 1 ounce 3/4 to 1 ounce flipping rod. So if I'm going to go flip lily pads and stuff like that, this rod will come out. So yeah, this is my one big heavy long rod, 7.4. I don't have anything that's longer or heavier than this. I don't have a big old flipping stick. I'm not a heavy flipping guy. I'm more of a finesse, moving bait, offshore kind of guy. I'll get to my spinning rods after this. So anyway, that's my Legend Bass 7.4. Let's go to another Legend Bass. So I've tried a lot of the Legend Bass rods. I've owned most of the rods in the series probably over the years. Only a few of them have stuck around in my collection. The one knock against the Legend Tournament Bass rods is their balance. They're very tip heavy. They're not balanced really well. The blanks are great. This one though is a special one. The Legend Tournament Bass Jerkbait rod. This is a 6.8 medium moderate. These rods are awesome. This one's sticking around in my collection. I haven't found a better jerkbait rod quite yet. This is a killer jerkbait rod. So if you have the means, or you can figure out a way to get your hands on one of the Legend Tournament Bass jerkbait rods, highly suggest it. I have this paired up with a Tatula SV spool, 7-speed with right now it's got copolymer line on it, but I actually am going to switch this over to 10-pound fluorocarbon. But any kind of 10 to 12-pound line for a jerkbait setup, this is good. I got this spool on here, or I got this reel on here so I can throw lighter jerkbaits further. So that's why this is running the SV spool. It's awesome. I like this rod. It's going to stick around a while. The two Legend tournaments that have remained in my collection are the big frog rod and the jerkbait rod, because they're great. Can definitely vouch for those guys. I'm running out of room here to put my rods. Okay, two more. This is the Legend Glass, St. Croix Legend Glass. This is the 7.2 medium moderate. I love throwing square bills and shallow cranks. I'm not much of a deep cranker, but like DT6s, DT4s, any 1.5s, Bandit 100s, Bandit 200s, I like cranking from 15 feet and up. And that's what this rod is for. So I got this paired with another Tatula SV spool, 7-gear ratio. So this is pretty much the cranking rod for shallow cranks, square bills, that kind of stuff. So that's all this rod does. And the Legend Glass are insanely light for a glass rod. For a full glass rod, I probably wouldn't buy anything but one of these Legend glasses. All the other full glass rods are very kind of heavy and kind of noodly, but the St. Croix nailed it on these Legend glasses. And plus the orange finish is sweet. So very cool rod. Will get use this year. And then the last one for St. Croix is a 7-1 medium heavy Legend X. So the Legend X is just like the Legend Elite, same blank, except that it's a split grip, and it has the Legend Elite has Torzite guides as well. So this is my only rod with Torzite guides. I have not used this rod yet. Going to give it a whirl this year. I got a great deal on this thing. What am I going to use this rod for? Probably 3/8 or 1/4 ounce jigs, so lighter jigs. Probably Texas rods. I'm probably actually going to throw 1/4 ounce swim jigs on this because it's got a really, really good tip. So the tip on this rod is sick. It's like a Matt Allen from Tactical Bassin calls it a hitched tip. But look at that. The first like 4 guides, it's just like, whew, look at it. So I think this is going to be a killer light swim jig rod. So like 1/4 ounce. So I don't know. I'm going to play around with this rod and see what it's really good at. But yeah, this is the Legend X 7-1 medium heavy. It's going to kind of be an all-around stick. I'll probably do a lot of different things with it. I have it rigged up with a Lew's Tournament Pro G, one of my favorite workhorse reels that are now discontinued. And then I'm going to run, actually I'm running 15-pound Seeger Invisics on that as well. So all my rods pretty much have fluorocarbon or braid. That's it. Right, so I'm going to go on to my spinning stuff, but I got to go get it. I'll be right back. Okay, so spinning rods. So I'm going to start off with, I'm a big spinning rod snob. I love spinning rods. I've gone through many, many, many spinning rods trying to find like the one. And I will say that I will keep coming back to this particular spinning rod. And if you're a spinning rod or finesse aficionado, you have to have tried or own at some point in your fishing life a Loomis 852S blank, whether you get it in the GLX or the NRX. This rod is phenomenal. I've had the NRX version, and right now I'm rocking the GLX version, but the 852S or the 853S, the medium action G Loomis spinning rod blank is exquisite. So the sensitivity, the action on these rods are just second to none. So this is one I'm rolling with this year. 852S JWR Loomis GLX with a 3000 size Daiwa Tatula Ballistic LT. All of my spinning reels now have been converted to the LT series from Daiwa, either Tatulas or Ballistics, because they're awesome, and I like them better than Stratics. So yeah, this is going to be pretty much my bread and butter finesse rod. I'm going to probably have this on the deck the most all year. This rod and another rod of mine in my collection are, I'd say, the pinnacle of the mountain for spinning rods. So the 852S and another rod I'm going to show you are the two, like, of all the rods I've tried, they're the best. Okay, so on this I'm running 10-pound Power Pro Super Slick V2 high vis braid to a 8-pound Invisics fluorocarbon leader, which is what I'm going to run on basically all of my spinning rods all year. 10-pound braid to a leader. So anyway, gotta be careful with that. So yes, 852S, get one. Save up, they're amazing. Okay, the second most amazing spinning rod that I've used is the St. Croix Legend Xtreme 7-foot medium. Now this rod and the medium light, I haven't tried the medium light version of this, but I will get one eventually. Both of those rods are supposed to be phenomenal. I've only tried this one. This is the medium. This rod is so ridiculously well balanced for St. Croix. St. Croix are known for having terrible balance. But this rod, because of the formed special handle, gives a little extra weight on the back end of it, and the whole rod is just superbly balanced. So nice. I'm running a Tatula LT Sterling Silver limited edition from last year. I think it looks sick with the brushed metal accents on the rod with the silver rod or reel. Looks really cool. This is also running 10-pound Super Slick V2 to a fluorocarbon leader. This is going to be primarily my Ned rig rod. I'm going to use this all year for Ned rigs. I don't think I will not have a Ned rig tied onto this thing. The Loomis is probably going to be more shaky heads, Ned rigs as well, or I don't know, other stuff. But this is probably going to have a Ned rig tied on all year. This thing is stupid sensitive, ridiculously well balanced, and the paint job on these things with the green metallic flake is just sick. Awesome rods. You can find them used for not too terrible of a price. They do have micro guides. However, one fun fact that I learned is St. Croix, in the version of this rod from this year, from I think sometime in 2018 to 2019, they increased the size of the guides. So leader knots go through the guides on this rod a lot better on the newer version. So if you're buying one, look up the date code on the blank and find out when your rod was manufactured, and it'll tell you basically if it's an older version that has the slightly smaller guides, or if it's the newer version that has the slightly bigger guides. So if you're a if you're a braid to fluorocarbon leader guy, you might want to look for the newer version so you get a slightly bigger guide so your knots go through a little cleaner. But I haven't any problems casting this thing. This is the newer version, but this rod is awesome. So between this and the 852S, it's hard to pick a favorite. Probably the Loomis, but it's just as nice. Okay, last two, and I'm running out of room. I'm just going to lay this on the floor. Okay, so the last two are Shimano Exprides. This is the Expride 6-foot 10-inch medium light. Obviously, the drop shot rod. This is running a 2500 size Tatula LT ballistic. Same thing, 10-pound braid to a 8-pound fluorocarbon leader. So, yep, this is the smaller, lighter drop shot rod. I'm going to run this all year. I have another Expride, a 7-foot medium, I'm going to show you next. If I'm going to drop shot in slightly heavier cover, I'm going to switch over to that one. This will be mostly just drop shotting in open water. So this will do like 90% of my drop shotting. And then I got this other Expride, which is quickly becoming a favorite. If like a $400, $500 G Loomis is out of your price range, which is entirely likely, these for around, you can find these for around $250 to $220 online new. This rod is crazy good. I've been using this a little bit this spring. The balance on this thing is exquisite. So nice. The reel handle is great. Insanely light. If you haven't played with an Expride, do it and then buy them, because these rods for like under $300 are, it's amazing the fit and finish and the balance and the weight and the components. Stainless steel guides, more durable, SICK inserts, SIC inserts. Just the whole look and feel of these Expride line is awesome. This is paired with a 3000 size regular Tatula LT. Now, the black on black looks dope. Shimano does not have a reel that looks like this unless you buy the X-Sense, which is like $500. So for like $150, you get that like black on black look like an X-Sense and a lot less money. So cool combination. I know Daiwa on a Shimano rod. Oh well, Shimano, make cooler all black reels and I will switch. But for now, I'm rolling with the Daiwa stuff because it's awesome. But this is the 7-foot medium. Is this 7.1 or 7 foot? 7 foot. 7 foot medium Shimano Expride. This is just another all-around workhorse spinning rod for finesse applications. I'm going to drop shot with this for largemouth and a slightly denser cover, like Texas rigging the worm. So I kind of got both of the Exprides in the 7-foot medium and the 610 medium light to kind of cover both the bases. So that's pretty much it. I roll with 3 medium action spinning rods, 1 medium light all year. That's pretty much all I run, and I use them a lot. I'm a big spinning rod guy. I use spinning rods all the time. I never don't use one when I'm out fishing. So I don't need a lot of spinning rods, but I need good ones. So that's what I put my money into. So that's pretty much it. All my rods are right now are Megabass, St. Croix, Loomis, or Shimano. And that's kind of the road I've ended up on, just trying a lot of different brands and a lot of everything else. And I've kind of ended up in those companies because their stuff is really, really good. And I'm probably just going to keep getting more of them, which is a bad news for my bank account. So do you have to get rods and reels like this? Heck no. Absolutely not. I'm an enthusiast. They bring me joy. Plus, I try and get really good prices on them so that if I want to get rid of them down the line, I basically can punt them for pretty close to what I paid. And even in some cases, I make a couple bucks. So in a lot of these rods and reels, I feel like I'm renting them. So if, I'll use them for a couple years, and if I want to get the next latest greatest thing, I'll just resell them for pretty close to what I bought. So when you move up into the higher rod and reel, my reels aren't super expensive. I'm pretty modest on the reel side. But when you move up into the more expensive rods, the fun thing is you can swap them out easier. They're easier to sell, and then you take the money and you buy the next cool, high-end rod. I don't know. It's a sickness. I know. I got a problem. But we'll see. I'll probably do another one of these in a couple of years and see what other crazy stuff I end up picking up. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Have a great summer.